Next year. Hi, everyone. It's 11:30. Hi, and I'd like to call the meeting of the Community Development Commission to order. Before we do a roll call, I would also like to invite some of our members who would like to participate remotely to the meeting. There has been a request to allow remote participation from member Gosia Pochiacha under Section 7A of the Open Meetings Act pursuant to Section 7A of the Open Meetings Act. If a quorum of the members of the public body is physically present, as required by Section 2.01, a majority of the public body may allow a member of that body to attend the meeting by other means if the member is prevented from physically attending because of illness, disability, or employment purposes. Do I have?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. That passes. Welcome to the meeting. And next, a roll call, please, Marjorie.
Consuelo Arguelles.
Here.
Kurt Barrett. Don Bastian.
Here.
Karen Briggs.
Here.
Edmund Cage.
Here.
Cindy Cahill. Liz Chaplin. Here. Lori Chassie.
Here.
Michael Childress. Sadia Covert. Michael Crandall.
Here.
Dawn Desart.
Here.
Grant Eckhoff.
Here.
Lucy Evans.
Here.
Janine Farrell.
Here.
Eileen Franz.
Here.
Mark Franz.
Here.
Gigi Gaddy. Gary Galassi.
Here.
Paula Garcia.
Here.
Kathleen Gargano. Sean Gascoigne.
Here.
Daniel Gombeck. Dubra Govin. Patty Guston.
Here.
Sean Halloran. Melissa Headley.
Here.
William Hennep.
Here.
Joseph Hennepin.
Here.
Tracy Jones. Brian Krajewski. Lynn LaPlante.
Here.
Mark McLaughlin. Mary Ozak.
Here.
Felicia Page. Gosha Pocheha.
Present.
Stan Popovich. Curtis Poske.
Here.
Sheila Rutledge. Greg Schwarzy.
Here.
Michael Smetana.
Here.
Christy Stone. Mike Todorovic.
Here.
Sam Tornatornik.
Here.
Yana Yu.
Here.
James A. Okay, quorum.
Thank you so much. I move to approve the minutes from our last regular meeting held on Tuesday, April 4th.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. And now we get to our committee vote. This is where, just for anyone who is not familiar, or anyone watching from home, because this is riveting content, I know. We do switch off between elected officials on the county board and our municipal partners. So I sit as chair whenever it is time for a board member to have it, and then we pick a community member, municipal partner to take over. So it's going to be a peaceful transition of power. I'm all glad you're here to all witness this. From myself to Lori Chassie. So I will remain as vice chair, and then she will be chair for the next half of a year. So I move to approve item 5A 24-1092. Approval of the fiscal year 2024 slate of officers and Community Development Commission Executive Committee as presented.
Second.
Thank you so much. And roll call, please.
All right. Consuelo Arguelles.
Yes.
Don Bastian.
Yes.
Karen Briggs.
Aye.
Edmund Cage.
Yes.
Liz Chaplin.
Aye.
Lori Chassie.
Aye.
Michael Crandall.
Aye.
Dawn Desart.
Aye.
Grant Eckhoff.
Aye.
Lucy Evans.
Aye.
Janine Farrell.
Yes.
Eileen Franz.
Yes.
Mark Franz.
Yes.
Gary Galassi.
Yes.
Paula Garcia.
Aye.
Sean Gascoigne.
Aye.
Patty Guston.
Aye.
Lissa Headley.
Yes.
William Hennep.
Yes.
Joseph Hennepin.
Aye.
Lynn LaPlante.
Aye.
Mary Ozag.
Aye.
Gosha Pacheha.
Yes.
Curtis Poske.
Yeah.
Greg Schwarzy.
Aye.
Michael Smetana,
Yes.
Mike Todorovic,
Aye.
Sam Tornatori,
Aye.
Annie U.
Aye.
Great, that motion passes. Do we have any public comments for today?
None to physically present and no one here.
Okay, thank you. I just went a little bit out of order there, but we have no public comments today. Okay, so thank you. It's an honor to serve on this committee. We do such important work here. I love chairing it, and I'm very excited to pass the baton to Lori Jassy, and I know she'll do a wonderful job as well. Now, take it from here. Take it
Thank you
away.
very much. I wasn't sure the vote was gonna go that way. Well, Lynn has done all the heavy lifting. As we mentioned, we just have two information items. 6A, a single family rehab program, project 1818, grant funding overage. So this,
I can give some background if you'd like.
yes, please.
So again, this is just an informational item. Under the single family rehab program, we had an eligible household that applied for roof and skylight replacement due to deterioration and leakage. We try to keep the program at or under $15,000 per household. This particular project, including the 4 skylights, was going to be over, so the homeowner elected to only have 3 of those replaced at the time that they signed the contract with the awarded contractor. Then during the project, they decided it's probably best to have that 4th replaced, so a change order was submitted, which resulted in a slight overage over the $15,000. The staff felt it was best to move forward with approving that change order, although it wasn't unforeseen. They thought it was in the best interest of the client, so they used their best judgment to move forward with that. So this is just letting the committee know that that happened.
Thank you. The next item is another information item regarding the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program Review. Take it away.
All right. My name is Julie Hamlin. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the Administrator of Community Development. We thought it would be a great opportunity to inform everyone of our successful closeout almost of our Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Funding. So with today being a rainy April day, let's talk about a flood event that happened in April 2013.
Yes.
So, the county or the federal government can appropriate disaster recovery funding under the Community Development Block Grant Program when it is in response to a presidentially declared disaster. Next slide, please. So April 18th, 2013, the county experienced significant flooding, which resulted in a presidentially declared disaster. Over $31.5 million in CDBG DR funding was allocated to the county to assist in disaster recovery needs. And a grant closeout is currently underway. So this map gives you a really great visual of where that heavy rainfall took place. DuPage County is highlighted with a very tiny square. You can see it's in like the 5 to 8 inch rainfall. So yeah, scary. Next slide, please. So after the flood event took place, it was our responsibility to assess the damage. We did that through outreach with the public, municipalities, and we worked in close partnership with DuPage County Stormwater to identify where the flooding events took place. And also now, how are we going to rebuild or replace infrastructure and assist homeowners that may have been impacted by this event. So we established recovery needs based on that outreach and notified partners of funding availability. We also solicited 4 applications that focused on infrastructure improvements and buyouts of single family structures based upon an application review process. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we work closely with the DuPage Stormwater Department, not only to identify the needs throughout the county, but also to get projects completed throughout DuPage County. We also work closely with our municipal partners who provided that data to us in regards to their needs based on that flood event. We focused on buyouts and infrastructure improvements. There were buyouts completed throughout 9 municipalities in DuPage County. And our infrastructure projects focused on culvert replacements, floodplain enhancements, river restoration, water retention, and detention facilities, just to give some examples. Next slide, please. As I said, we had over $31 million worth of CDBG DR. With that, we were able to leverage over $7 million in additional funding. So you can see that last row gives you the total investment for administrative and planning funds that were allowed, buyouts, urgent need infrastructure, and then low to moderate infrastructure. So just for reference, low to moderate infrastructure improvements would be within census tract block groups that met a low mod requirement at the time that the application was reviewed and the project entered into an agreement. And then urgent need infrastructure projects would be those that didn't meet the low mod requirement, but were identified as an urgent need due to that flood event that took place. Next slide, please. This is a huge project that we collaborated with the Stormwater Department on in Carroll Stream. This is called the Armstrong Park Detention Facility. Sarah Hun, the Director of Stormwater, is here and she can speak more to the projects that we worked with Stormwater after this presentation. But this one was insane. You see $9.6 million total cost, 9.4 of that CDBG DR funding went into that. Next slide, please. We also did buyouts and demolitions, again in partnership with the DuPage Stormwater Department and also with our municipal partners. Residents were able to apply for buyouts if they met certain criteria. Over 40 residential properties within 9 municipalities were bought out as part of our $31.5 million. Homes were demolished and then restored to natural floodplains or open space to help with future storm events. And there was also an opportunity to leverage FEMA funding known as the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, where HMGP would come in with 75% of the funds, and then our CDBG DR could match that at 25%. So a nice way to leverage federal dollars. Next slide, please. This is an example of an infrastructure improvement project where it was a culvert replacement in Bensonville. The before and after is quite shocking. So yeah, this was just a great partnership with Bensonville, one of the smaller projects that we did that still had a really big impact on the community. Next slide, please. Then this is an overview of kind of everything that we did with our DR funds. Just to highlight some things, our funding provided 60% of low mod benefit. The regulatory requirement was at least 50%, so we went above and beyond that low mod requirement. 10 municipalities benefited from the projects that went forward, whether that be infrastructure or buyouts, and over 50,000 residents benefited from not only the infrastructure improvements, but also the single-family buyouts that we completed. And that is the end of my presentation. So as I mentioned, Sarah Hun, the Director of Stormwater, is here to kind of just give a little bit more about our stormwater collaboration.
Sure, and thank you, Julie. And that was a great summary. Took half of my talking point, well, most of my talking points. But I do want to say it's for the great planning that we have at DuPage County, both from the Stormwater Management Planning Committee, the board, and the municipalities. We were hit with a disaster and we reached out about projects we could do, knowing we had a limited time to spend those funds. And all the municipalities, the department, we all came together with a list of projects that I think at some point you started to turn projects away. So having plans on the shelf, plans in place, understanding the importance of planning was an incredible asset. So when we needed to capitalize on that planning, we were able to. The other thing I would say specifically about the disaster funds and the community services group, I can't talk about how great they are to work with making sure everybody stays in line, checks and balances, making sure everybody follows the rules. Best group that I've worked with in a long time as far as that open communication with us and making sure we understood, because it wasn't a grant program, at least my department, I'm sure many of the municipalities were used to working with in and out of, and it helped a lot, especially when it came time for an audit, because this was one of the very few programs that I've ever been involved with in my 20 years here at the county, where we are able to utilize capital federal funds to match with federal funds. So we can match FEMA funds with HUD funds. With our ARPA funds, we're not allowed to do that. With other FEMA funds, we're not allowed to do that. This was the first program that we were allowed to do that, and finding that balance of what each federal agency would allow us to work within took a lot of work on their part. And so we thank them for that assistance, and also the amount of infrastructure we were able to get into the ground, into the county. And flood prone properties, we were able to remove some of those areas. Areas of Lyle specifically just devastated in that flood event, and getting some of those homes where actually FEMA has a rule. I know some people in here know this. FEMA has a rule that if you live in the floodplain and your home has been damaged by 50% of the value over a tracking period of time, you're not allowed to fix it. You're not even allowed to replace a window. And so those homes could not be repaired from the flood damage. They had to be removed from the floodplain. And there's a choice, elevate or demolish. And the education, working with some of the communities to get that out to the residents, it wasn't easy. But I think everybody walked away a winner from that project. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, Julie, as well. Any other business for us today?
I have something.
Yes, please.
Okay, so it is CDBG's 50th anniversary this year, and HUD is very excited to work with local communities to identify and highlight different projects that have been funded through CDBG. So the county has decided to do a social media campaign starting this month to identify and highlight projects that we've funded with CDBG over the last few years, whether that be infrastructure, nonprofit improvement, capital projects, public service projects, as well as we're going to have testimonials from those who have received CDBG funds over the past few years. So while April is Community Development Month this year because of the 50th anniversary, HUD also has something planned in August. So we are going to just keep our social media campaign going from now until the end of the year, just to keep CDBG on everybody's radar and to really highlight the great projects that have benefited DuPage County. So that's
Excellent. Thank you. Is there anything else for the greater good? Thank you all. Thank you for the vote of confidence. Thank you for being here today in this beautiful weather event. And I would now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? See